The firearm industry is lying straight to your face. If you spend any time scrolling through the internet or flipping through modern gun reviews in 2026, you are going to get hit with a very specific, very expensive marketing script. They want you to walk away absolutely convinced that if you do not drop $2,000 or $3,000 on a custom-built, elite tier rifle platform, you are going to fail your family when things get tough. The gatekeepers in this industry want you to believe that running a budget rifle is an automatic death sentence. They want you feeling insecure, under-equipped, and desperately reaching for your credit card to buy a false sense of peace of mind. But here is the unvarnished truth that those industry executives and sponsored tactical influencers do not want you to know. Whoosh, the guys who are actually preparing for the real world, the practical preppers who understand what is coming, who watch the inflation rates, the supply chain cracks, and the rapidly changing legal rules, they are not buying $3,000 Safe Queens. They are buying rugged, proven, budget-friendly workhorses. Because a highly tuned $2,000 custom rifle does you absolutely no good if you cannot afford the specialized match-grade ammunition to feed it, or if it turns into a paperweight the second a proprietary part snaps, and the factory is back-ordered for 6 months. Right now, smart, working-class heroes are quietly buying up very specific, highly capable budget rifles that flat-out embarrass the premium brands on the flat range and in the woods. These are the underdogs. On the rifles that prioritize mechanical function over flashy logos and practical survival over social media status. Today, we are breaking down the top 7 budget rifles that practical preppers are buying in massive numbers this year. These are the tools that completely destroy the myth that cheap means weak. But you need to pay close attention to how we break this down, because the rifle we are putting at the #1 spot completely changes the entire defensive landscape. It is a massive blind spot for most shooters, and it is quietly becoming the most important, legally insulated piece of insurance you can own. Before we strip the marketing hype away and get into the mechanical reality of these 7 platforms, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do not do corporate shilling here, sorry. We protect your wallet, your physical safety, and your legal rights with the mechanical truth they will not tell you. Hit subscribe and let us get right into the metal. Let us kick this off by completely dismantling the idea that precision has to cost a fortune. The common assumption fed to you by the elite hunting and precision rifle community is that long-range capability requires a massive budget. They will look you dead in the eye and tell you that if your bolt-action rifle does not sit in a custom-machined aluminum chassis, featuring a heavy fluted barrel, and stamped with a brand name that sounds like a boutique defense contractor, you are never going to reach out and touch your target. That brings us right to the Savage Axis 2. The real mechanical story here is that modern CNC, a manufacturing technology, has gotten so incredibly precise that budget bolt-action rifles are leaving the factory today with tighter tolerances than the premium, hand-lapped rifles our grandfathers carried into the woods. Practical preppers are buying the Savage Axis 2 because it offers out-of-the-box, sub-MOA accuracy that genuinely humiliates rifles costing 3 or 4 times as much. The mechanical secret weapon here is the AccuTrigger. Savage figured out how to put a premium-feeling, user-adjustable trigger into a strictly budget-tier rifle without compromising drop safety. It uses a center release blade that blocks the sear unless it is intentionally depressed by your finger. This means you get a crisp, light trigger pull that completely changes your capability under stress, without the risk of an accidental discharge if you drop the rifle on a rock. You can find this platform chambered in everything from .308 Winchester to .6.5 Creedmoor, allowing you to standardize your logistics based on whatever ammunition is piled high at your local farm and fleet store. Now I will give you the candor you deserve. The stock feels like cheap, hollow plastic. It is not winning any beauty contests. The bolt throw can feel a bit gritty right out of the box until you spend a weekend working the action and breaking it in. It definitely does not have the buttery smooth glide of a $1,500 Safe Queen. But let us talk about the real-world consequence of ignoring this budget workhorse. If you spend your entire budget on a premium bolt gun, you have nothing left in the bank for quality glass. A $400 Savage Axis, paired with an $800 optic, will outshoot and outscan a $1,000 rifle wearing a cheap, fogged-up scope every single day of the week. Preppers know this basic math, and that is why they are clearing the Axis II off the shelves. But precision at 400 yards does not mean squat if you are dealing with a localized emergency right inside your own property line. Sometimes you do not need precision. You just need relentless, brute force reliability on an absolute shoestring budget. That means we have to talk about the ugliest, most disrespected, most relentlessly mocked rifle on the current market. I am talking about the Hi-Point 995 TS Carbine. Now, most guys at the gun counter hear the name Hi-Point, and they immediately start making jokes about cast metal junk. Kearney, the tactical gatekeepers laugh at it. But the hidden truth that the internet commandos refuse to admit is that the Hi-Point Carbine is a mechanical tank. It is virtually indestructible. The elites laugh at its low price tag, but let us look at the physics. This is a straight blowback, heavy, clunky piece of machinery that simply refuses to stop cycling. In a straight blowback action, there is no rotating bolt, no complex gas system, and no delicate gas rings to wear out. The only thing keeping the breech closed when that 9mm cartridge detonates is the sheer heavy mass of the bolt and the tension of the recoil spring. That massive cast zinc alloy bolt is exactly why this gun works so well. That heavy dead weight eats the recoil of the 9mm round, making it shoot incredibly soft. Preppers who look past the marketing hype and focus strictly on raw mechanics are buying these as dedicated stash guns. The price is absurdly low, often sitting right around $300. You can bury it in a PVC pipe, leave it in a humid barn, drop it in the mud, run it without cleaning it for 1,000 rounds, and it will still feed. It also comes with a lifetime warranty that follows the gun, not the buyer. The cons are obvious. It is incredibly front-heavy. The proprietary single-stack magazines are a major logistical drawback when the rest of the world is running standard double-stack mags. And pulling the trigger feels like dragging a cinder block across a gravel road. But here is the practical reality. If you are on a fixed income, or if you are trying to arm a family member who has zero interest in tactical training, you need something that is cheap, easy to point, has virtually zero recoil, and works every single time you pull the trigger. Churi? The Hi-Point Carbine beats a $1,000 Safe Queen because you can actually afford to buy 3 of them, stage them in different locations, and still have money left over to buy a case of ammunition. It is the ultimate working-class underdog. Now, stepping up from the stash gun concept, we need to address the absolute baseline of survival logistics. When the mainstream hears the word survival, they immediately picture high-speed tactical setups. They think of high-caliber, high-recoil platforms and chest rigs. Because of that Hollywood mindset, the Ruger 1022 is often laughed off as a beginner's training tool or a rifle meant only for tin cans. That is a massive tactical error, and seasoned preppers know it. The real story of the 1022 is about long-term logistical endurance. In a genuine, prolonged supply chain collapse, logistics dictate whether you eat or starve. You cannot physically carry 3,000 rounds of heavy center-fire 5.56 ammunition in a bug-out bag. The weight will snap your knees. But you can easily toss a brick of 500 rounds of .22 long rifle into the bottom of your pack without even feeling a difference in your stride. The Ruger 1022 is the undisputed king of small game procurement. The mechanical genius of this platform lies in its legendary rotary magazine. Instead of a standard box spring pushing cartridges straight up, the 1022 uses a geared rotor powered by a torsion spring. This completely separates the rim 22 cartridges from each other, preventing the dreaded rim lock that plagues so many other rimfire designs. It feeds with boring, relentless consistency. The aftermarket support is also so massive that you can build an entire 1022 from scratch without ever using a single Ruger factory part. Now we have to be honest about the drawbacks. You're dealing with a rimfire cartridge. Rimfire ammunition uses a primed rim instead of a center primer, which makes it inherently less reliable when it comes to ignition. You will get the occasional dead click. And obviously, .22 long rifle does not offer the stopping power required for heavy defensive scenarios against multiple determined threats. But when you look at the price tag, comfortably sitting under $300, it becomes a mandatory foundation. If you are building a practical prepper inventory in 2026 and you do not have a reliable 10/22, you are missing the most fundamental building block of preparedness. It is the cheapest insurance policy against an empty freezer you will ever buy. But what happens when you need more stopping power than a rimfire, but you still need a platform that does not draw unwanted attention? So let us talk about the myth of the backpack gun and why the Ruger PC Carbine is absolutely dominating the practical market. The industry wants to sell you ultra-short, highly regulated, expensive personal defense weapons that require special paperwork, tax stamps, and a massive budget just to throw in a bag. But legally anxious viewers who want to protect their families without risking their freedom are buying the Ruger PC Carbine. This platform is the ultimate chameleon. Out of the box, with its standard stock, it looks like a traditional, grandfatherly hunting rifle. It flies completely under the radar of aggressive legislative bans that target pistol grips and adjustable stocks. It looks friendly, but it fights like an absolute beast. The mechanical brilliance here is twofold. First, it is a takedown model, right? With the push of a recessed lever and a quick twist of the wrist, the barrel assembly separates entirely from the receiver. You can pack a highly capable 9mm defensive carbine into a completely nondescript canvas backpack without printing a tactical shape. Second, the reliability and recoil management are incredible because Ruger engineered a custom tungsten dead blow weight inside the bolt assembly. Okay, when the rifle fires and the bolt travels rearward, that dense tungsten weight shifts, actively counteracting the rearward momentum and shortening the bolt travel. This completely neutralizes the snappy recoil you usually get from blowback 9mm carbines. It shoots incredibly flat, making it incredibly easy to keep your sights glued to the target during rapid strings of fire. And the logistical dominance cannot be overstated. It comes with an interchangeable magazine well that allows it to accept standard Glock magazines right out of the box. You can run 33-round sticks through a platform that hits harder, reaches further, and shoots more accurately than any handgun. Yes, it is heavy, weighing in around 7 pounds. It is a chunky piece of machinery, but it gives you pistol caliber logistics, backpack concealability, Glock magazine commonality, and a traditional profile that keeps you entirely out of the crosshairs of the gatekeepers and the bureaucrats. If you want to take that concealability to the absolute extreme, sacrificing the traditional look for raw space-saving utility, we have to look at the Kel-Tec Sub 2000 Gen 3. Most people hear Kel-Tec and they think of weird experimental plastic designs. The guys running $2,000 setups turn their noses up at it. But practical preppers are taking a completely different route. The Gen 3 version of the Sub 2000 actually listened to the working class shooters and fixed the biggest glaring flaw of the previous generations. They engineered a rotating collar that allows you to mount a red dot optic that twists entirely out of the way, so the rifle can still fold completely in half without having to remove your glass. The real story here is absolute discretion. This rifle folds down into a package that fits easily into a standard 15-inch laptop bag. You can walk out of an office building, a hotel lobby, or a crowded parking lot looking like a guy heading to an IT meeting while secretly carrying a highly capable carbine. Just like the Ruger, the massive tactical advantage here is magazine compatibility. You buy this rifle configured to accept the exact same Glock 19 or Glock 17 magazines you are already running in your everyday carry sidearm. One caliber to stockpile, one magazine type to run on your belt, two completely different defensive capabilities. The cons are definitely present, Because it is a pure, lightweight, straight blowback design without a dead blow weight, it has a very snappy, weird recoil impulse for a 9mm. The cheek weld on that cold metal receiver tube is notoriously uncomfortable, especially if you are running it in freezing weather. It feels somewhat toy like when you first pick it up. But at a price point hovering around $400 to $500, you are getting a pistol caliber carbine that hides in plain sight and shares your sidearms ammunition. Do not let the tactical elitists talk you out of a practical, real-world advantage just because it does not look cool on Instagram. Before we get into the top 2 rifles, and believe me, the platform taking the #1 spot is a massive loophole that is going to shock a lot of you. I want to hear from the working class shooters down in the comments. Are the gun snobs right? Do you really need to spend $2,000 to get a platform you can trust your life to? Or is a budget workhorse all the rifle a prepared citizen actually needs? Drop your real-world round counts and experiences in the comments below. We do not care about what the glossy magazines say. We care about what actually runs when it is dirty, wet, and neglected. Sound off and let us get into the heavy hitters. Coming in at number 2, this is where we make the elite gatekeepers truly angry. If you spend 10 minutes on any modern firearm forum, you will be aggressively told that if your AR-15 is not made by a top-tier, luxury manufacturer, it is going to stovepipe, jam, and fall apart in your hands the exact second you need it. You are told that budget ARs are a liability. And that is an industry scam designed from the ground up to separate working-class people from their hard-earned money. The absolute truth? Palmetto State Armory has single-handedly armed more everyday American citizens than almost any other company in modern history. The PSA PA-15 is the undisputed working man's rifle. Preppers are buying these in massive volumes because they have realized a dirty little manufacturing secret. A basic mil-spec AR-15 made by a high-volume American manufacturer is more reliable than most civilians will ever need it to be. Let us weaponize the specs and destroy the lie that cheap means weak. The elites laugh at the PA-15's $400 price tag, but it uses the exact same mil-spec 7075T. 6 aluminum forgings for the upper and lower receivers as their $2,000 safe queens. Often they are hammered out in the exact same forging houses like Cerro Forge or Brass Aluminum Forging. You are paying for a roll mark, a logo, and a status symbol, not increased lethality or durability. The PA-15 bolt is made from Carpenter 158 steel, magnetic particle inspected, and the gas key is properly staked. It is the most modular, easy to repair, easy to supply defensive platform on the planet. If a part breaks, you can find a replacement pin or spring in almost any garage in America. It eats cheap, dirty, steel case ammunition without complaining. Now the finish might scratch if you look at it wrong. The standard mil-spec trigger is heavy, gritty, and feels like dragging a stick through the mud. You are not getting fancy ambidextrous safety selectors or perfectly matched gap-free receiver sets. It is a tool. It looks like a tool, it feels like a tool, and it runs like a tool. If you spend $2,000 on a premium AR, you are terrified to drop it in the gravel. If you spend $400 on a PA-15, you throw it in the back of your truck behind the toolbox and you put it to work. It goes bang, every single time. Value is the ultimate flex, and the PA-15 provides all the stopping power you need without bankrupting your family. But if you want the absolute pinnacle of 2026 preparedness, if you want the one specific rifle that combines bolt-action reliability, extreme legal safety, and total logistical dominance, you need to understand the platform sitting at the #1 spot. Taking the crown for the smartest budget rifle preppers are buying right now is the Ruger American Ranch rifle. Let us break down the hidden trap of modern preparedness. The biggest threat you face might not be a total dramatic societal collapse. The most realistic threat you face right now is bureaucratic traps. It is sweeping, aggressive legal changes. It is politicians changing the rules overnight, turning common, standard-issue semi-automatic defensive rifles into immediate legal liabilities. The mainstream belief is that you must have a modern sporting rifle, an AR or an AK, to be truly prepared. But smart, legally anxious preppers are seeing the writing on the wall, and they are moving to a loophole platform that bridges two completely different worlds. The mainstream assumption is that bolt-action rifles are strictly for deer hunting, and semi-automatics are for defense. They think a bolt-action in 2026 is outdated technology. The Ruger American Ranch completely shatters that assumption. The mechanism here is a rugged 3-lug bolt with a short 70-degree throw that clears large scope bells easily. It is a bomb-proof action. But here is the massive mechanical advantage that pushes it to the absolute top of the list. It is chambered in 5.56 NATO or 300 blackout, and it feeds directly from standard AR-15 magazines. Think about the sheer logistical dominance of that engineering choice. Ammunition availability is going to be the biggest choke point in the coming years. The American Ranch allows you to have the quiet, slow-paced, deliberate accuracy of a bolt gun, running off the exact same massive stockpile of 30-round Magpul P mags you already own for your AR-15. It is the ultimate scavenger rifle. If the world goes sideways, finding AR magazines and 5.56 brass will be easier than finding clean water. Furthermore, let us look at the legal insulation. Politicians ban gas tubes, pistol grips, and semi-automatic actions. They almost entirely ignore bolt-action rifles. The American Ranch gives you a platform that is legal in almost every restrictive jurisdiction in the country, yet it taps into the most prolific ammunition and magazine ecosystem on the planet. You can suppress it for incredibly quiet pest control or property defense, especially with heavy subsonic 300 blackout loads. The cons are minimal. The factory synthetic stock is flimsy in the forend and flexes if you load a bipod too hard. The zipper sound of the bolt traveling over the machined ridges can be loud if you are trying to be perfectly stealthy in the quiet woods. And obviously, you cannot lay down rapid suppressive fire like you can with a PA-15. But for under $600, you are buying a legally safe, perfectly reliable bolt action that eats from America's most common magazine well. It is an absolute loophole in the system, and smart preppers are hoarding these before the secret gets totally out and the prices skyrocket. You do not let the industry elites shame you into spending money you do not have. You absolutely do not need a custom-built $3,000 rifle to protect your home, your family, or your future. What you actually need are reliable mechanical tools, you need plentiful ammunition, and you need the common sense to train aggressively with what you already have in the safe. The 7 rifles we broke down today prove mechanically that cheap does not mean weak, and practical always beats tactical when the real world comes knocking at your door. If you want to stay ahead of the bureaucratic traps, if you want to protect your wallet from industry scams, and if you want the unvarnished truth about real-world preparedness, you need to subscribe to the channel right now. The rules of the game are changing fast, and we are here to make sure you do not get caught off guard by the gatekeepers. Share this video with a buddy who might be about to make a massive, expensive mistake at the local gun counter. Stay smart, stay practical, keep running those